thank you for coming. And I know she's going to go pull some more people in. Come on in. This will be a great session. My name is Flynn Malloy. I'm the Global Chief Marketing Officer and Vice President of Marketing for Lenovo's infrastructure business, which everybody knows Lenovo as the #1 PC company in the world. We are by units and revenue. We're very proud of our amazing PC. But what a lot of folks don't know is that we have a $15 billion infrastructure business. We're number 3 or 4, depending on how you count it, for servers. We've got a storage business, a large services business. So every single year, we do a survey in partnership with IDC of all of about 3,000 customers and prospects around the world. And we ask them, just kind of taking their temperature, what's going on, what's hot for you, what are you doing? And surprise, surprise, the last couple of years, it's all been about AI. What's going on in AI? And what we do with this is we ask, what are you doing? What's going on? Have you started yet? Are you seeing ROI? What workloads are you doing? Is it back office? Is it front office? We just ask all of those questions because we're all learning this together. And then we aggregate them and put it together for our CIO playbook. And 2 years ago, that was all about, oh my God, AI. Give me 4 or 5 AIs, says the CEO. And the CIO is going, that's not a thing. I can't give you 4 or 5 AIs. What do you want to do with it? Let's do a pilot project. And they did. And guess what happened? Everybody's talked about this. The ROI of those enterprise pilot projects was really low. So there was a lot of learnings. There was a lot of writing on it over the last year. Like, wow, the disillusionment of AI. Well, that's not really it. It's just, all the big push into the neoclouds and the clouds, that's where the giant spend has been. The enterprise and SMB has been a bit more cautious. So this year, as we went through it, what came out of our survey, so come on in guys, what came out of our survey was very much, we got to look at the economics of AI. So that's why this year we call our CIO playbook from Lenovo, AI-nomics, clever play on words, AI-nomics. As both Lisa and Forrest talked about today, AI is this year, the whole industry predicts, and we see this in our survey as well. We predict that, though the enterprise and mid-sized business have been cautious so far, lots of kicking of the tires, we believe this is the year where production AI workloads really come online. And in order to do that, we called it the revenge of the CFO over the last year. Like, we need to show what ROI is and what does it look like and how do you do that? So what we've got is, this is our playbook just to show, we've done this for years with, again, this is the Lenovo infrastructure business. It's about a $15 billion business for those who just joined. Lenovo purchased IBM's x86 server business about 7 years ago. And since that time has grown it into the number 3 or 4 server vendor in the world. And we ask our customers all around the world in 4 markets, about 10 countries. You can see the split there, C-suite, C-1. We talk to the LOB as well as the IT folks. You can see the sampling size there, heavy into enterprise, but also mid-size down. And we ask them, what's going on? What are the priorities? What are your imperatives? And this is kind of the summary of the imperatives. And I'll show kind of like a comparison to last year and this year so you can kind of see some of the trends. But this is really interesting stuff. And a lot of what this book is just an assembly of recommendations and understanding of what's going on in the industry, what are you seeing. And also, by the way, this is an asset and a resource. I'll show you a QR code at the end. You can download it. There even is an assessment where you can benchmark your own company against the 3,000. Take the same answers and then get an assessment out of it and use that with your CEO to have conversations about what you should invest in, what are those priorities, how you should think about it. But here you go. Number 1, guess what? What was the most difficult challenge about those implementations where everybody did their pilot program and didn't get their ROI? It was because of the data, right? Everybody's got multiple data silos. What are the data format? Have you invested in a data management system? Do you have a global namespace? Is your data ready for AI? You can have the coolest AI thing in the world, the coolest model, the coolest choice, the coolest app, but if your data isn't ready for it, it's not going to work. It's not going to get you the ROI. And that was the number 1 thing that popped again and again and again from everyone around the world. Number 2, and I'll show this in a second, everybody flagged regulatory compliance as one of the most important things. Like, how boring is that? Really? Compliance? Is it really that big? It really is that big. Why is that? Because what's happened over the last year is every business group is swiping their credit card. give me some AI, give me some AI. Do you see that cool video tool? Let's do that. Let's do this. And so you get, it's kind of like the early days of cloud. Everybody is popping up all over the place, and everybody in your businesses are swiping their credit card, and therefore that video is being sent here, and that customer data is being sent here, and there's just been escalation after escalation. In some of the data that we rolled up, feel free to add your own comments about this, like the horror stories that we saw around the world about what, your marketing teams, I'm in marketing so I can pick on them, what did the marketing teams do? Like, what did they actually send to which tool? You see that all over the place in companies today. So that's why business priority number one, again, take this, have this conversation, lead this conversation inside of your company, is let's get some governance across the board on how we do AI. Number three business priority is there's a lot of belief, as there was, I suppose, in the early days of cloud, on productivity. It used to take me 4 hours, now I can do it in 15 minutes. That's the early gains that are going to pay off on the ROI question more than anything else. So that's why we have a lot of back office, front office. I'll show some of the workloads that people are seeing that kind of improvement on, but I think everybody sees, especially at the device level, we can get a lot of productivity out of the individual employee if we're able to deploy personal AI out to the device, connect it up, to the private AI for your company, use it for your own data. There's a ton of improvement, productivity improvement that everyone believes they can get from that. The second to last one is around talent. So as an IT organization, how much AI talent do you have? And have they done that for years, or did they just bolt this on last year and read some papers? The real true AI talent is expensive, it's hard to find, and everybody's after them. So what is the conclusion there, which is don't be shy about talking to your vendors like Lenovo for services. Add those expertise, add the smart person, a few hours of the smart, do the workshops, do the discovery. Companies like Lenovo have service experts who go all around the world and watch deployment after deployment after deployment, and they can make a whole list of the do's and don'ts. And you guys don't have that. So that's one of the things that we heard. 46% plan to use AI services to help just how do you build the business case? How do we onboard it? How do we think about managing it? So don't be shy about that. And then the last one, especially for Lenovo, we didn't lead the witness, we swear, is around 63% of all the respondents have said that they hybrid environment for their AI is what they're looking at, what they'd prefer. What does that mean, right? Hybrid is you need a mix of AI. Some AI workloads work great in the public cloud, right? Run them up there, that's awesome. Other AI workloads are going to want to stay in a private environment or even a personal environment. So data gravity, data sovereignty, family jewels, AI data not ready. There's lots of reasons why enterprises, even mid-sized businesses, would like a private AI solution, which is a big part of Lenovo's overall go-to-market, by the way. We do talk a lot about hybrid AI, and you don't have to take your data to the AI. Bring the AI out to your data. Bring it out to the hospital, bring it out to the retail, bring it out to the manufacturing site. We think that's a big wave of the future. And that's what it sees here, is that a lot of companies, 63%, would prefer a solution that does that. All right, here's the last year and this year difference. There's some real notable statistical differences. The one on the bottom is the one that pops along with the second one, improving regulatory compliance. In the early days, so this is 18 months ago, when AI was first banging, everybody ranked compliance all the way down at the bottom. But in the last year, it's popped up 11 spots because of all the credit card swiping and all the bad behavior that's going on inside of companies today. So now it's the number 2 priority. Employee productivity is number 1. And you can see down there. And 2 years ago, deploying Gen AI. This was the really hot thing. We want this. Let's get Gen AI. Now, that's all the way down to number 9. It's not that it's not important. It's that step by step, if you're going to build out a strategy, what we're seeing and hearing from the industry, from all of the enterprises around the world is, let's focus on productivity, let's focus on governance, let's focus on customer experience, and then we can get the really exciting, science projects after we dial in our foundation and we're comfortable with it. So this is kind of the maturity level. This is an AMD conference on AI. So, if you are in an enterprise today, you're probably all the way over there on the right. But if you look at the bell curve of the world, This is what it says. 51% have adopted, and underneath that you can see early stage 21, 25 pilot projects in flight, and only really about 5. 1 in 20 businesses around the world can say that they have systematically adopted AI. 36% plan to start in the next 12 months, and then 13% are all the way at the back and just super cautious. On the bottom, this is also really interesting and telling, right? Which is, how enthusiastic is your management team about bringing AI in? Is it going to change the world? 12% are like, it's going to change everything. 51% generally positive, and you can see 37% are still a little bit skeptical, thinking about your companies and where you land on that. But that's also really telling. There's a lot more to this. I'm just giving you guys some of the highlights. This kind of answers the question, so where are you starting? If you've been successful, if you have deployed AI in production inside of your company, where'd you start? What worked? And as you can see here on the left, these are the top use cases, and kind of our conclusion looking across all that data is back office. Back office is where most people are seeing the productivity advantages today. So that's IT ops, it's SecOps, even software development, right? I mean, you got code generation, you got QA, you got NPL docs. These are things that are kind of back office. Even inside of Lenovo ourselves, we've got this pretty advanced suite in terms of what I can compare to all my marketing peers around. We call it the AI Studio, which is a set of custom built and trained AI models for my team's marketing stuff. And for data sheets, for customer reference templates, for lower level power videos, for 90% blogs, like the kind of the back office content, it's working great for us. For some of the higher end stuff, we're not quite there. And so I think you see that across all different kinds of functions. Back office is a lot of productivity gains right now, and you can measure it. You can measure the ROI of those back office. It used to take me 4 hours, now it takes me 15 minutes. That's a really valuable thing when you've got to go to your CFO and ask for more AI funding. On the right, you can see the top industry use cases. We also have whole sections of the survey around each of these, but these are just some of the things that you're seeing. Customer service agents are popping everywhere because that's a pretty mature, but outside of that, you can see, in manufacturing, there's a lot of engineering and R&D research. In healthcare, you're getting a lot of HR, cybersecurity monitoring. We've got a great customer reference that I show later jointly with AMD, which is a perfect example of hybrid AI coming out to you in healthcare, which is a company called Elephant Care, which is out of Elephas Care, excuse me. It's kind of a difficult name. Elephas Care, it's a healthcare facility in Canada, a series of facilities in Canada that do assisted living, and as a consequence, they need to monitor all of their facilities. And so, we have a great joint, high-end, one of the most performant per watt machine in the industry, Edge server, the ThinkEdge 455 with AMD EPYC, all the way out at that facility, the set of their facilities, running real-time AI, monitoring all of the sensor feeds that come in, what's happening in the rooms, taking a look at, did someone fall, is there red flags, and it's increased patient outcomes by like 50%, and it's reduced the amount of time it's taken for the requirements for monitoring. So it's a great edge use case, bringing hybrid AI out, driving measurable outcomes, and they are able to build a business case around, we saved a lot of money and patient outcomes increased. And then they go back to the CFO and they're rolling different layers of AI out inside of their healthcare environment. But that's the kind of use case measurement, productivity improvements that you need to deploy, or at least this is what the industry is telling us, in order to justify the next millions of dollars of AI investment. This is around that AI investment. So what we heard from the 3,000 people is about 2.8x growth in AI budgets over the next year. So take a picture of this and go back to your CEO and say, look at what everybody else is doing. On the bottom, 42% of that extra money is for Gen AI implementations. And this one on the lower right is really interesting. I wonder, and there's an open microphone. I mean, we only have like 20 minutes or 15 more minutes, but it's just a small room. So if you got questions, come do it. But I mean, I kind of had a question for you guys. 3.6 is the expected ROI. So if you're spending $1 million, you better be able to show a 3.6 ROI. This is what, on average, the bell curve of all the, the 10 markets and all the 3,000 CIOs in one level down told us. 3.6 is the ROI. Show of hands, is that about what you guys look for all of your IT projects? Is that higher? Does this look average for you? It looks right. Does it look high? A few highs. I think it's high too. Does it look low? No? Okay, there's a low one. Anyway, that's what they're saying. And the key investment areas, of course, it's foundation stuff, right? I mean, we all want to spend on that super sexy application, but you got to take care of the data. You got to take care of the data infrastructure. You got to get a platform out there. And if you can build a platform, again, in a hybrid way, you can swipe credit card and go up to the cloud by all means, tons of innovation up there. But if you want to balance it, building a platform that you can run content, you can run your customer services agents, you can run your computer vision, that platform on infrastructure, with proper governance, this is what we're seeing companies doing. And then you see the business functions there. So IT ops, cybersecurity, software dev, engineering, and supply chain are the first ones out. Okay, so yeah, question, love it.
I appreciate the data you've shared about enterprise use cases. Is it fair to think of it as fairly concentrated in some of the use cases you've mentioned, like, for example, customer service and IT ops, and that the broader core business functions of mainstream enterprises AI is not yet ready to automate that?
So I think that the answer to your question is yes. I think that what we've seen so far is still the early days of bringing AI into production workloads. And so I think that the ones who have seen success, and that's kind of, if we go back to that, who's seeing success? What are they doing? The people who answered on the survey, we have seen success, which means they will have done it over the previous year, are really those customer service, like the things that have been validated that we all see, supply chain, logistics, some legal documentation, IT ops, and customer service agents. That's where I think the early wins are. What I think is going to happen in the next year, to answer your question, is I think that's what's going to expand. Because you see some of the, I'm sure you guys read your medical journals too, but like, good grief, like what's happening in code development is so badass. It's amazing, like what's happening in code development. In 2 years, every enterprise in the world is going to have a code development platform. Every enterprise in the world is going to have a logistics platform. Every enterprise in the world is going to have a content platform. But they need to get there. And what we've learned is that you definitely need to start with things that you can immediately go back to your CFO and say, see, this, we reduced our logistics supply chain, and here's the 10% gain. Hey, we took down the monitoring cost for all of our facilities by 15%. Right? It's killer, right? Okay, now let's go to the next one. So that's our prediction, is that start in that back office, the things that are working, validated designs that you can be able to prove, and then from there start to expand to the more exciting, the bigger areas. Because if you really implement this across code generation or content generation, you're not gonna save 10%, you can save like 50% or more. So that's the promise of the future, but that's the learnings. One of the big learnings on where do you start is on those use cases. I'll also say too, another thing that we learn is a recommendation is that governance conversation. If we all remember back in like the early days of cloud, it took a couple of years before everybody realized that IT ops is not cloud ops. Right? How you run your cloud environment is very different from how you run your IT. You need different people, you need centralized stuff, you got to turn the lights off at night, you got to be the broker for your company, you got to put boundaries around it. So running a cloud ops, very different from IT ops. And what we recommend for Lenovo is you need an AI ops. You need someone who understands what this is. You need to put those boundaries for your whole company, and here's the data allowed, here's the tool allowed, and run AI ops just like you would cloud ops or IT ops. That's how you're able to get like a lot of governance, and we've got services experts that can talk to you all about it. I'd also say another thing, I said it before, is don't be shy about asking for help, because you might be smart on AI, but someone in one of the vendors, the services vendors, has probably watched 100 deployments and seen 90 of them fail, and they can bring all of that to you. And in terms of cost, high-end AI services experts are not cheap, but a little bit of that goes a long way, and you can really help build, what I want to say, risk buffer your project by working with someone who has seen all the pitfalls of deployment. Okay, well, I got like 8 minutes left. That was a great question. Any other questions? Okay. Well, then I'll move on to talking about me. Talking about Lenovo. So if you give me a few minutes, I'll talk a little bit about the Lenovo solution and why it's relevant and why we use this kind of data to shape what we do. So we talk a lot in Lenovo about hybrid AI, which is not rocket science. It's just like hybrid cloud. We believe that the right answer for the future is going to be a mix of some AI workloads should run in the public cloud. Those AIs are way smarter than anything you have on-prem. But if you want to do stuff with your customer data, there's a lot of reasons why, look at a hospital. One MRI is 30 gigs and really private. Are you going to round trip to the cloud every MRI to get your AI magic? No. If you can, bring the AI out to where the radiologist is, and as she's analyzing, her MRIs, if you can bring that capability out to the hospital environment, that's what we mean here by hybrid. Same for edge, same for a lot of things. So, when we think about the strategy there in the middle, this is how we talk to and we advise our clients is you should plan for an agentic future. It's not here now. But plan for an agentic future because it's coming. So look at the foundation and plan for what that means. Data insights, as I've said 20 times, it's all about the data. Is your data ready? Do you understand where it is? Do you have a data management platform? Do you have global namespace? Do you know where it is and where it's coming from and what the weight is and what the regulations around it are? Data is super important in planning an AI strategy. Location matters, not just for the ROI of, gosh, it's really expensive up there, but location matters for where do you want to run it? All the way out at the edge, in your private data center or colo, or you run it in the public cloud. LLMs and beyond, Lisa talked about that all morning long. I mean, how many times do we hear the word inferencing this morning? And yeah, that's the big bubble that's coming. It's not here yet, it's starting, but the big bubble, it's not about that simultaneous upload of data to make the model smart. Yeah, that's super important, but it's the throughput of inferencing that's going to be the game changer. Throughput of answering questions, of building content, of computer vision, of avatars talking at the edge, of self-driving cars. That's all inferencing, right? It's that throughput that is so important. So gotta plan, build a strategy around recognizing that yes, you can retrain your models, you can privatize your models, but probably most of what you're going to be spending your time, your power consumption, your money on is going to be with that inferencing. And then responsible AI didn't come up a lot this morning. I think over the last year, responsible AI has really been kind of talked about in the context of ROI. It's really power hungry, these new servers. If you walk into a data center, your data center, it sounds like you're standing next to a jet engine. And the new GPUs from all the vendors, the heat sinks are like shoe boxes. We all thought it would get smaller and quieter over time as technology advanced, but that's not what's happening. It's all getting bigger and more power hungry. So understanding how to get responsible, liquid cooling, by the way, Lenovo has the best liquid cooling solution in the industry, 10 years, recognized across the board. So if that is something, if you are in the hardware business and you want to bring the best you can, take a look at liquid cooling. So responsible AI means, of course, ethical use. It also means sustainable use. That's another part of building a strategy for your stakeholders, for your employees. And that's what we call is smarter AI for all, is think about a hybrid approach, build a strategy around these things. And then, all right, give me one more slide and then I'll open it up for more questions. There's a lot of talk in the industry about these AI factories, right? What is an AI factory? What's it for? Why are people talking about AI factories? Well, the clouds don't need AI factories. The clouds got their plans. They're building out what they need. The real AI factories, this is for how can you build full stack, validated solutions that are proven that you can sell for different workloads into the enterprise and the mid-market. That's what this is for. The whole industry, in the AI world, wants to accelerate production workloads into the enterprise. That's what the AI Factories is really designed to do. And if you do it right, the Lenovo AI Factory is called the Hybrid AI Advantage. And what that is, again, it's a series of use cases around code development or content generation or knowledge assistance. And underneath it is t-shirt size stacks of validated technology in a Lego block way. So you can pick your platform. You want to run it on Watson X? Do you want to run it on Red Hat? What are the different platforms you want? What are the components you want? Be able to assemble that and then trust that this is a validated solution to do what you want it to do. That's what the AI Factories do. It's way oversimplified, but just to say that's why everybody's talking about it, is because what's happening next is bringing training, retraining, and inferencing into production workloads for the enterprise and SMB. And this is how Lenovo does it. If you're interested, take a look. I can talk your ear off about it. So can our wonderful sales teams. A couple of people are in the room. But do take a look at it. It is kind of, Lenovo likes to talk about hybrid because it's kind of our corner of the room. We have a giant device business. That's, by the way, where all the AI data is happening. They're happening on your phones, they're happening on your tablets. I mean, think about a hospital. How many staff cell phones and tablets and workstations throughout that hospital? In the basement, there's a bunch of private servers and storage, delivering AI all across that. That's what we mean by hybrid. And some of that, you betcha, let's go to ChatGPT, love it. But for others, how many times did I meet this patient last year and what was their problem? Right, I'm not running that through the cloud, right? You're gonna run that through a personal or a private AI, and that's just healthcare, finance, manufacturing, retail. It's all the same thing. So figuring out how to bring AI out to your business is really gonna change the game. So come talk to us about it. All right. I've got like 2 minutes left. Let me, these are the solutions that we announced earlier this year around content generation, customer service, knowledge assistance, data management orchestration. Everybody in the industry has these kinds of concepts. This is what the platforms are designed to do, but they're not all made the same. So, as you look towards wanting a validated solution, talk to us, talk to our competitors. This is how you get it brought out into your environment. You can see some of the platform choices on the bottom, building on top of NetApp AirPod, Red Hat, Nutanix, VMware. We, just like Lisa talked about this morning, Lenovo is very passionate about an open ecosystem. It's a team sport, putting these solutions together, and it takes a lot of time and energy. It sounds like a team sport. Yeah, let's just go. You give me your Lego block, I'll give you mine. No, it's hundreds of hours of joint engineering and then testing to make sure that when we go out with a content generation platform with a bunch of different choices for you, that you can pick it, and then it lands, it's validated, and it's gonna run. So that's what those solutions do. I talked about this already. Let's go to, I just wanna kind of show you, this is the, if you would like, this is the playbook. Everybody can have access to it, it's free. There's also an assessment there where you can go benchmark yourself against it. It's private, and we don't share it or anything, but you can see, your company is here on certain metrics, and it'll show you what the other 3,000 companies around the world and how you measure yourself against it. It's time for AInomics. And this is also just pragmatically, if you're in the IT shop, this is a really easy way to walk into the CIO's office and go, let's talk about this, and we need to build a AI office, and I need some of this, and to justify your business case using this kind of data. Because if you go out to a lot of the analyst firms, they're gonna have trends and all of that. This is very realistic about what are people doing, where did they start, where did they fail. So I think it's really useful. And we got a couple of minutes left. Any other questions from folks in the audience? Anything? I know a great Mexican place south if you want to. No? Italian? Anybody? All right. Thank you. This is the anonymous survey feedback. So thank you for spending your time today. I know it's at the very end of a long day of AI-ness, but do let us know if this is valuable for you. And hopefully you took the QR code. Just go to Lenovo, search hybrid AI, and you can get all of the information. And do feel free to reach out to our team if you need it. Gracias. Thank you.